This is the presentation for the urban field trip to Kells County Meath, which I will be taking my Junior Cert History class on. So far we've looked at the daily life of a monk in early Christian Ireland. We've also looked at the layout and structure of the monasteries they lived in and the importance of having a round tower or similar building in the monastery grounds. This field trip will help you all gain a better understanding of the lives of hardship which the monks chose to have in order to atone for their sins and to be closer to their God. On our trip, we're going to learn more about the reasons why the monasteries were built in the way in which they were. We will also learn why the round tower was so important for the monks and what it would have been used for. You are also going to work together in your groups to gather and collect the information which your groups thinks will help you complete your project on the places visited on the trip. Before we go on our field trip, you will each be given a What I Know sheet. On it you will fill in what you already know and what you would like to learn. I will collect them and give them back to you all after the trip. We're also going to complete some activities which will help prepare you for the trip. So one of the activities which you will complete will be an observation challenge. So in your groups, you will try to describe different everyday objects in as much detail as possible in 30 seconds. So this is going to allow you all to practice your observation and descriptive skills before you go on the trip. You're also going to decide in your groups what part of the field trip you would like to do a group project on. You will then decide which part of the trip each person in your group will be responsible for paying special attention to. This doesn't mean that you only need to focus on one part. You still need to pay attention to the whole trip. We'll be visiting 3 different places in Kells. The first part of our trip will be the monastery at St. Columba's Church. So this monastery is home to some of the best examples of high crosses which we have, and it's also home to the round tower of Kells. We're also going to be visiting St. Columkille's house, which, as you already know from your religion and history classes, is said to have been where part of the Book of Kells was written. Finally, we're going to visit the Market Cross in its current home on the main road out of the town. When we're visiting these places, you're going to be able to link them to what you've studied in religion and history classes about early Christianity in Ireland. So on our trip, we're going to complete a number of different challenges in your group. One of the challenges will be a photography challenge. So each group will be given a sheet with a list of different structures or places on the trip which you must take a photo of. So you'll be able to decide in your group to either have one person take all the photos or have each person take a photo of each part. You're also going to be given a sheet with a number of photos of high crosses on it. So you must try and pick out the crosses which are located in the monastery in Kells. Some of the crosses on the sheet are not going to be from this monastery. After the trip, we're going to go through where each of the crosses of the worksheet are from. When we're in the monastery, we're also going to be visiting the round tower. So this here is a photo of the round tower which we will see on our trip. Our tour guide is going to point out different features of the tower which allowed it to be used as a place of refuge for the monks when they were being attacked. You will also be told how the tower is different to other towers of its kind because of the position of each of the 5 windows on the tower. So each window is said to have faced each of the 5 main roads into Kells, which help the monks keep watch for any possible attacks. The original door to the round tower is located 2 metres above the ground, and this would have helped the monks protect themselves from attackers, as they would have used a rope ladder to get into the tower and would have then rolled up the ladder so their attackers could not reach them inside it. We will also learn more about how the tower originally housed the bell, which was used to call the monks in from the fields to pray. We're going to see that the bell top is no longer on the round tower, and as a result it does not have a roof. So this here is an impression of what the monastery may have looked like when it was being used by the monks. In this picture we can see the round tower with its bell top located towards the middle of the image. Towards the bottom right corner we can also see where the oratory or St. Columkille's house would have been located in the original monastery, and this image also shows the stone walls which would have protected the monastery from attack. So these are some of the examples of the high crosses which you will see in the monastery. When you are looking at them, try to pay attention to the detail in the carvings. As we've already learned, these crosses were used to teach Christianity to people who could not read or write. The crosses which are in the monastery tell the different stories found in the Bible. The crosses which you will see are all in different states of disrepair. Some crosses have very little damage and are still in one piece, but others have been damaged and are missing parts of them, and there will also be some crosses which only their bases remain. When we're finished in the monastery, we're going to walk around to St. Columkille's house. As you've already learned, it is believed to have been where part of the Book of Kells was written, and it was used as an oratory by the monks in the monastery. It is positioned at one of the highest points in the town, and when we're inside the house, you're going to be able to see the upper level where the monks would have slept. Finally, we're going to visit the market cross at its current home outside the old courthouse. This market cross is one of the surviving high crosses of Kells and one of the most famous. It has carvings of stories from the Old and New Testament. We're going to learn more about why the cross had to be moved from the market street to its current location, and when we're walking from St. Columkille's house to the current location of the cross, we're going to see where the cross was originally located before it had to be moved. After our trip, as part of your homework task, you will all complete an entry in your field trip journal. In this entry, you will have to describe in as much detail as possible the different areas which were visited on the field trip. So this will help you when you're completing your group project on the area of your choice. You will also answer the question, if you were an archaeologist in the future, how much would you learn about early Christian Ireland from visiting the different sites? So by completing both of these activities, you will be showing how much you've learned from the field trip, but you're also going to be doing the preparations for your group project. After we finish the trip, I'm going to give you back your What I Know sheet, which you filled in before we began the trip. On this sheet, you'll fill in the section which is marked What I Have Learned Today. So this is going to help you see how much information you learned from the trip, and you're then going to be able to use it to help you when you're completing the other tasks, so such as your diary entry and the question if you were an archaeologist in the future. You're also going to fill in an evaluation sheet, which I'm going to collect during the next lesson. And on this sheet, you'll fill in what part of the trip you enjoyed the most and how you think the trip will help you in your history class, but also in your religion classes when you're learning more about early Christian Ireland. The group project, which you will complete after the trip, will count towards your final mark for this section of the course. You will present your projects to the rest of the class in your groups, and more information about the projects and what will be involved will be given to you after the trip.